Welcome to the Rotary Club of Hudson. My name is Evan McCauley, president of the club, and we are thrilled to have you joining us today. This meeting broadcast is available on HCTV as well as our Rotary of Hudson YouTube channel. Our club meets weekly at Laurel Lake for breakfast on Wednesday mornings from 7:15 to 8:30 a.m. Come out and join us for a meeting. We'd love to have you as a guest. To learn more about Rotary, our club, and the impact that we are having on the local community and world, please visit rotaryhudson.org. Enjoy the meeting today and be the inspiration.
Good morning, Rotarians and guests. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Rotary Club of Hudson. I'm Ron Strobel, the Sergeant at Arms. Our invocation this morning is by Jim Young. Morning, Rotarians. Good morning. Welcome to August.
Yeah.
Already. Let us pray. Dear Father, as Rotarians, we have each accepted our responsibility to Rotary. We ask for your blessing upon this club and its activities. Help us to select and engage ourselves in activities that meet the four-way test, and may our conduct be exemplary when dealing with one another and those around us. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Jim. And to lead us in the pledge and the four-way test, John Hopkins.
Good morning, Rotarians.
Good morning.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And the four-way test. First,
Is it the truth?
second,
Is it fair to all concerned?
third,
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
fourth.
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you, John. And to lead us in song, Chris Barker.
Good morning, Rotarians.
Good morning.
Okay, so the bad boy table, they think they requested that we sing God Bless America, but because the bad boys table requested it, we don't get the lyrics.
And we have to sing it backwards.
And we do. I can't do that, but Andy's going to lead us. Okay. So please join me in singing God Bless America. God
Bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Hey, Chris.
And also to introduce our guests.
If Jake Jackson would please stay standing, let's give a warm Rotary welcome to Jake Jackson. He is the president of the Hudson Clock Tower Rotary. Thanks for joining us today.
Good morning, Jake. Good morning. And our fine master might want to make a note of this, but yesterday morning at 7:30, I drove down Main Street, and sitting in front of the coffee shop was a guy with his dog, and talking to two ladies, and I thought, no, that guy's got it figured out. Well, it happened to be our president, and I'm not real sure what the occasion was, but that's what he's doing since he retired. He hangs out at the coffee shop with his dog.
Works every time.
So, our president, Tom Tobin.
Thank you.
Ron, by the way, being step up here for a moment. Come on up here. You know, Ron is Sergeant of Arms, and there's, that means something, so I decided to arm him. So bad boy table, be aware.
He took it with him.
By the way, so I will clear my name a little bit here. So what I was doing was
Sure.
gathering petition signatures for my school board re-election campaign. And so I figured if I took my border collie, my very pretty border collie, I'd use her as petition bait. It helps crack the ice a little bit. All right, let's see here. We got a good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's see here. What do we got going on today? We have a number of things. Let me just give you a few reports on a few things. First of all, Art on the Green. Pat Shearer has his clipboard with him. I was so disappointed this morning that I started the first of 3 people to say that I couldn't participate in Art on the Green because we're taking my son to drop him off at Virginia Tech that weekend. But Pat, if you pass that around again, I'd love to really put in a special emphasis on people signing up for that. Once again, it's a lot of fun. It's important to our club. It's important activity for our community too. So please pick up for me because I can't do it. All right, let's see. Next of all, Marilyn, could you give us a quick update on another very exciting import that we have going on?
She's coming tomorrow afternoon. Serena Abrita will be arriving from the Canary Islands.
Wow.
And what a shock she will have when she comes to Hudson. She currently lives 3 minutes from the beach. She's 17. She turned 17 on July 1st, and we'll be signing her up for school. Her first family, the Ackermans, are welcoming and a wonderful family. So we're really excited to have Serena Abrita joining our club. Thank you.
That's really great news, and I just want to, say thank you to Marilyn and Joe. Anyone else involved in that? And Clint is too, because these guys are knocking it out of the park. They have all of the families lined up. We used to have to scramble to do this thing.
We're lucky. We've been lucky the past 2 years.
We've been lucky.
Had great kids.
We've had great kids, but you guys have done a wonderful job of promoting this within the community, and I really want to thank you. It reflects very positively on our international mission there. Okay, let's see. I did get one, just a little bit of minor update on Stu's health. Apparently Stu is wheeling himself around Laurel Lake. He's not with us this morning, but let's all hope that he will be back soon. Apparently he's getting, he's making a recovery from whatever his health issue is, and we hope to see him soon. Let's see, and I'll also just keep George Schmutz in your thoughts, and if you guys, once again, if you want to go visit him, he's down at Akron Summa Rehab Hospital downtown Akron, so he would love to see you. Let's see, could I have Jake come on up for a second? Just a reminder, everybody, Jake is the president of the Hudson Clock Tower Club. Correct. And we had a nice chance to just kind of, get together for breakfast the other day and talk a little bit about our mutual interests. And he wanted to tell us about something, invite us to something.
Thank you, Tom. We have a social gathering on the second Wednesday of every month, as well as if there is a 5th Wednesday. Typically, we meet at Zeppi's in the evening, 5:30. It's a cost of $12. We have pizza and salads and drinks if you want them or on your own. So we'd like to have you guys come out if anybody's interested, and bring family. We usually have our spouses with and kids sometimes, so we take the whole patio up, and it's just a nice social opportunity for at least our club, and we'd love to have anybody join us that would like to. So next month we are going to try something new and are looking at doing it at Hop Tree. If we get that set up, I will let you know that difference, but just trying to spread it around, have that social hour, and it's just a nice way to meet and gather without having all the business activities that need to happen. So please join us. Thanks.
Thanks, Jake. Appreciate it.
I think that's a great, I really appreciate that invitation, Jake. I know, like, I've been to that before. Dad, you and Mom have been to that. I know you guys look forward to doing those Epi things in the past, so it's a lot of fun. Please put it on your calendar. So it'll be next Wednesday. Next Wednesday would be the next one. All right. I had one thing I wanted to, Rotarians in the news, Donna Kastner and Jeff Tidwell will be giving a presentation at the Hudson Library on August 13th at 6 p.m. Registration is required. The topic is Too Young to Be Done, What is Next for Me? I'm planning to be there, so feel free to join me in that. Let's see. Next, let's move into our patchwork of other items here today. Could I have Jim Lang step on up and bring his guest?
Why is that?
To introduce our guest, I'm sorry.
Good morning, guys and gals, fellow Rotarians. This morning we have Mark, yeah, I know your name, Mark Johnson from First Serve, and I'm not sure if you're aware of it, but he's going to fill us in like a 10-minute presentation on their tremendous service to Hudson and Akron and how it's been growing in the last, well, ever since it started, like up to 800 volunteers this year. And did you pass out some?
I have it over on the table.
Okay, he's got literature here, but you'll be enlightened if you have not heard of it already, and it's a wonderful interfaith event one day.
Yep.
Mark Johnson.
Good morning, Mark. I am going to go off script, so hopefully I don't meander too much. I know I have some ringers in here, some other folks from First Congregational or who have done First Serve, so if there's anything to add, chime in. If I get something wrong, go with it and we'll pretend it's not. But thank you for having me. I am with First Congregational Church here in Hudson, talking with you about a service opportunity that we call First Serve. The 10th anniversary of 9/11, you may remember we had a multi-church event on the square here in Hudson to commemorate that difficult anniversary. Prior to that, our church did Rally Day in the fall. And Rally Day was, hey, you haven't been coming to church for most of the summer. Church is starting again, school is starting again, let's get people back into the swing of it. The choir comes back, the Sunday school starts up again. And we would do Rally Day as a festival. We'd have bouncy houses and a fire truck and a picnic and a potluck, and it was this big festival event. But after the 9/11 anniversary, we just couldn't go back to that. We wanted to do something that had more of an impact. We wanted to do something that would grow and would look at what was important. And First Serve was born. So that was 2012. Over the years, it's changed in iterations. We started really mostly here in Hudson and mostly local. It radiated and brought in Akron and it brought in Cleveland. On the 15th anniversary in 2016, we focused on first responders, and we did projects at firehouses, and we did projects for the police departments, only to find out they really don't need projects because they are so everything in its place and in line and taken care of. So what First Serve has become is it's one day of service, the Sunday closest to 9/11, where we go into Akron now and do service projects. The projects vary from light construction, some got a little more heavy construction, painting, community events, art projects, painting murals on buildings, painting murals on streets, doing crosswalks and making them more visible to be safer, doing playgrounds, doing gardens, doing work on people's houses. So it has grown and grown and grown. And as Jim said, we are now at about 800 people to literally invade an area and make a transformational difference in a day. 3 years ago, Well,
You're fine.
okay. 3 years ago, it also developed into an interfaith activity. So, whereas we just started at First Congregational, we now have 8 faith communities that join us. 3 years ago, Temple Beth Shalom here in Hudson joined us as well to make it a Judeo-Christian event. We have now been joined by another temple as well. 2 years ago, we were joined by the Islamic Society of Akron and Kent. So we now have a Muslim component to this too. So we truly have 3 faiths coming together and sending people to Akron to work together and to benefit others. And it is an awesome, awesome experience. So the day starts like this. We gather together for an interfaith worship service. How do we do that when they're different faiths? Well, I'm first to admit, I did not realize all 3 faiths worship the same God. Christian, Judaic, Jews, and Muslims. It's the God of Abraham. I did not know that. Many people do not know that. So having this service is again, that commonality, and what do we have that we're similar in versus focusing on what's different. After that service, we have crews. We go out and we do these service projects from about 9 to 3. And again, I have some literature over on the table. I don't think I had enough for everybody, so if you're interested in it, grab it over there. And there's actually a list. There are 30 projects listed out on what we're going to be doing so you can find a niche. We have projects for families with young children. There's a collaborative with the Children's Museum where we'll be doing some projects, having some play, having a snack, doing a project, having some play, having a snack, so that family can be involved in this and their kids can be involved in this. We have projects for strong backs, teens, young adults, strong backs, moving things, cleaning things, working on things, painting. We have 2 streets, potentially 4 streets, that we're just going to take 200 people and work down these streets, doing yard work, mulch, putting solar-powered lights on houses for safety and community. So we'll have music blaring, we'll have all kinds of stuff, and really make it a festival for the streets also to bring people out and to join us. We have projects for people who have mobility issues, who would prefer to be indoors and at a table. We're calling them around the table projects, where you could sit and do these projects to benefit others. There's an elementary school we're doing a fair for. They're going to have a big festival in the parking lot of the elementary school. This area of Akron, North Hill area, is home to a number of immigrants. So they have easily a dozen countries represented, different languages, and we're going to be doing this to bring them all together prior to the school year. I'm sorry, at the beginning of the school year. Right across the street is a senior living apartment complex. We're going to be doing activities there with the seniors, from doing welcome bags and putting welcome bags on everybody's doorknob to having activities downstairs in the lobby for them. So there's a lot of opportunities for people of all different ages and abilities to join with us in this. I'm going to show a little video of our event last year, and I will point out to you, you'll see some of the pictures are very dreary and wet and involve rain jackets, and some are very sunny and beautiful. The weather was what it was. Tropical Storm Gordon hit that Sunday. Some of the projects were indoors and went on without a hitch. Some of the projects were outdoors and needed to happen on that day, and so they did in the rain. And some of the projects were postponed, like the painting was postponed to another weekend when people could get together. So Tom, I think you also have to turn on that microphone to get sound, and then we can talk a little bit about the video and questions afterwards, but go ahead and do the video.
The Genesis, the birth of first
He said put it here.
Yeah. As a church, as a congregation,
I'm not sure it's on.
to do so in service and reaching out, that reminder, that's what we always need to be about. What we quickly learned, though, is it's not just about serving beyond our own space. It's really even more about forming relationships. getting to know people that we wouldn't otherwise know, crossing those bridges.
Try that again, I'm sorry. Uh-oh.
Bottom left.
Bottom left? Super. Thank you.
The Genesis. The birth of came about when we realized that the right way to start the year together as a church, as a congregation, was to do so in service, in reaching out that reminder. That's what we always need to be about. What we quickly learned, though, is it's not just about serving beyond our own space. It's really even more about forming relationships, getting to know people that we wouldn't otherwise know, crossing those bridges.
That was Jim.
Yeah.
And that of all God's callings, nothing could be more important than breaking down those barriers that separate us one from the other. And the best way to do it is to work side by side to get to know one another, to form partnerships. That's what First Serve is ultimately all about.
I really want to thank First Serve for again thinking about the city of Akron and coming back for a year or two. I can't wait to work with you next year.
So the event this year is September 8th, Sunday the 8th, and again starts out in the morning with the interfaith service. It's at Akron Civic Theater, because that's the only place that we're going to fit at this point, which is a great thing to say. Any questions, any details? Anybody who's done it before that I'm missing?
Sign up.
Yeah,
Sign up. So there's information on the table regarding sign up. Again, there are details about 30 projects that you can sign up for. Look to see what piques your interest. And then there's a website to do that. If you want to just go straight to the website, it's HudsonUCC.org. Or if you just Google First Congregational Church of Hudson, you'll find that as well. Yes, sir.
Question, does it require funding at all to keep your operation going?
So the question was, does this require funding for the operation to keep going? We've been very fortunate with funding. Our church has dedicated a portion of our stewardship funds to this event. We've also had some grants. So over the years, we've had some grants from different areas. This year, our large sponsor, and last year, was the Huntington Foundation of Akron. So they have generously supported this. We've done projects in collaboration with the Ohio and Erie Canal. We work with the Akron Municipal Housing Authority, and have piecemealed together some of the funding from lots of different sponsors. we would not turn down funding from anybody else as well.
By the way, let me just ask a question too, because I think Jim told me that he understands that our service learning class is going to be involved in this. Can you confirm that?
Sure, yeah. We actually have various groups that have been involved in this. So service learning from the high school is involved. Their leaders come and bring kids as a group. We also have, as you saw in the video, Hudson Rugby is very involved in this. So we have a couple rugby teams that join us, as well as the Hudson Swim Club. So the swimmers also join us for this.
Right. Okay, well, thank you so much, Mark. Sign up in group, family. You don't have to be a member of any of these churches or temples to participate in this thing. This sounds like something that individual Rotarians can embrace and have a lot of fun with. So, thank you so much. I love the design of it. It sounds great. Thank you for bringing that to us.
Thank you, everybody.
All right.
Thanks, Mark.
Next on our agenda, Joe Avella has some interesting information for us. Joe, if you'll step up and share some good news.
You have to do stuff yourself here.
I don't know anything about that.
Good help is hard to find.
Yeah, it was.
I mean,
I resemble that remark.
exactly. Tom's just gonna sit down.
It's called workshop. It's called business.
Okay, we're going to talk about the Hudson Rotary Foundation and planned giving. And, you know, I don't have to tell you, but I will, that you have a very generous club here. If you were here last week, you know that we gave $5,000 to the Gift of Life, which is an organization that provides life-saving surgery to children in underdeveloped countries. The week before that, it was $7,000 to the Hudson Community First for the Uncharted Waters program, what every senior needs to know. You know, of course, that we give scholarships, support service learning, the Boy Scouts, Hudson Parks, Hudson Library, a number of other charities and organizations in our community. Some of you know or remember, many of you do not know, that 3 years ago, in 2016, we raised $16,000 for Hudson EMS. And for respirator equipment,
The Lucas device.
Lucas device. And we heard a year ago that one of those devices on one of those ambulances saved a life up on Interstate 271 in an accident. Some of you might remember that in 2011 we donated $10,000 to the Hudson Memorial Stadium, right? And that we raised over $14,000 for clean water in Ubami, Africa. So clearly we've done some wonderful things. Many of you don't know, or I hope you may not remember, that in 1995 we donated $15,000 for a minivan to the fire department.
Yep. I did. It was before my time.
Just before my. And in 1986 we donated $5,000 to the Hudson Library for renovation of the archives room. So that was a lot of money in 1986. So clearly your club has established a legacy of doing good, not only in the community, but also throughout the world. And so what we want to talk today about is an opportunity for you to help us continue that legacy, and for you to perhaps establish a legacy of your own.
Beautiful.
So we want to do that through the Hudson Rotary Foundation. Now this is the charitable arm of our club. It was established in 1997. It is only 22 years ago. It is a separate 501c3 organization for tax purposes, our meetings are held every 2 months, and all of you are welcome to attend. Our first 3 presidents were Charles Obendorf, and I don't know him, but you,
Chuck
Obendorf. Next was Lee McCauley, Evan's dad, I know you know him, and Jim McKay. Many of you remember Jim McKay. Our officers this year, and they're appointed for a 2-year period. Matt LaFountain is stepping up as and will be our president. Doug McDowell is serving a dual role as VP and our treasurer. This is his 2nd term as treasurer. And our very able secretary is Lynn Zuck. We have 11 trustees that serve for a 3-year term and divided into classes. Our class of 2020 is Lynn Zuck, Doug McDowell, George Snyder. 2021 is Phil Warburton, John Hopkins, and Richard Nebbiolo. 22 is Matt Fountain, Dan Williams, and Keith Beers. Our past president also serves a 1-year term as a trustee, and filling in for Evan next year is Rich Warfield. And then another trustee is just a general member of the club, and that is Patrick Shearer. We have two busy committees. Investments is George Snyder, Patrick Shearer, Matt LaFountain, Keith Beers, and Rich Warfield. The investment committee manages the funds. They set the investment policy. They recommend to the trustees our strategy for investment and all the activities of the foundation assets. The grants committee, headed by Richard Nebbiolo, Dan Williams, Phil Warburton, John Hopkins, and Matt LaFountain. That's a busy committee. They review every grant request that comes in, and they vote on either approving that, modifying it, of course, because many people ask for this much money, we modify it to this much, or they decline it. But they do bring every grant request to both the club board and to the Rotary Foundation trustees for their review. So we've got almost $300,000 in assets in the foundation. About 50 to 60,000 we keep as an operating fund, and that supports the current year grants and scholarships. We have another 230-some thousand in the endowment fund, and that's invested in a blend of equities and fixed income. Our main sources of income are the gala and the fall fundraiser. Normally, the fall fundraiser earns us about $7,000, $8,000. This year, the gala, we raised over $48,000, which went to the club. We establish a grants and a scholarship budget every year. This year, it's $53,000. Last year, we gave out, I think, $48,000 or $49,000. And to date, we have given out almost $750,000. So that's a lot of money. Now, that's in the past 22 years. That doesn't include that stuff before the foundation, like the library and the minivan and stuff like that. So we've given out as a club a lot of money. So where does that money go? Where do we spend our money? Well, we've classified our spending, our donations into 4 areas, and that is youth and education, scholarships, community, and international. So youth and education is the blue slice of the pie. Scholarships is the $239,000 is the orange slice. Those two represent $429,000. A little over 57% of our funds go to youth and education and scholarships. And youth and education, that of course, that blue area includes the Uncharted Waters, the Boy Scouts, Camp Manitowoc. This past year we gave funds to purchase a 3D printer for the kindergarten group. We gave money to the honors biology. So all of those kinds of grants are included in that youth and education. Scholarships, of course, we've talked about many times. The community, where that $203,000, that's 27% of our spending. That was HCTV, Hattie Larlam, the EMS outreach, Hudson Parks, Hudson Library, and various other organizations, And then the international, the $118,000 or 16%, that's the Gift of Life. That would be the water wells in Ubani, and other. We support other Rotary international projects like the hurricanes that happened a couple of years ago in the Philippines. So how can you help? We want to talk about plan giving. Plan giving is an effective platform to promote and support plan giving, not just in the Hudson Rotary Foundation, but also Rotary International Foundation. It provides an opportunity for you to honor your loyalty to Rotary, and you can designate your gift into one of our areas of focus, youth, international, or scholarships, or you could designate it to a specific area of interest. If you were interested in mothers and children in Africa, or education in Central America, we could partner with Rotary International, and we could partner with local Rotary clubs in those countries and get in on a project which would support your area of interest. And we could of course help you do that. A gift can be made in your will or trust. That's the easiest way. That's the easiest way to give. It leaves a lasting impact. The benefits of that are that you receive the state tax charitable deduction. It lessens the burden of taxes on your family, and it leaves a lasting legacy. You may remember that last week we did talk about the Gosser Family Trust. We just received $2,000 or $3,000 from that trust. And 3 years ago, we received $12,000 from that trust. So that's one of them. And we also know that we do have some of our members here that have put us in their will as a bequest. So how do you make a bequest? Well, clearly, you need to talk to your advisor. You need to talk to your tax accountant, your attorney that made up your trust or your will, and specify we know you've specified family or friends in your will, and you add the Hudson Rotary Foundation or Rotary International as part of your estate plan. There's other ways to give. You could designate certain stocks and bonds, or real estate, or even life insurance, and make the foundation a beneficiary. So you've got the opportunity through this kind of a platform to clearly create a legacy, make an impact without committing money now. Wouldn't it be nice to have the Mike and Mary Smith Rotary Scholarship Fund? And that would be a lasting fund to create a legacy. Estate planning options can maximize future charitable gifts, and they can actually, if you work it out, it can provide you income today. So our Plan Giving Committee, for further information, you can talk to one of us in the Plan Giving Committee, Phil Warburton, Phil Tobin, Rich Warfield, or me. You could talk for advice to the Hudson Community Foundation, or talk to the Rotary International. I've left some forms on your desk, on your tables, a yellow form and a white form that you could fill out. Leave up there if you want further information. A couple of the members will be glad to get together with you and advise you, and then we could go from there. So, thank you very much. Are there any questions? Good. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Joe. That was a great message. I picked up a lot of good things.
It's a lot of history.
And I'm glad you shine the spotlight on the many things that have been done by the club. Some of those things were even before the foundation, I
Oh,
believe.
way
like that,
before the foundation.
like that,
Back in
the thing for the,
1986.
was it the EMS, or was it an EMS or?
No, the EMS, but the minivan?
The minivan.
That was in 95.
In 95, that was before the foundation even existed, but, you know, the club has a proud tradition of generosity I think we all should be proud of, and we all should be proud of the, you know, the impact that generosity, $750,000.
And Tom, if I remember correctly, that van was done because of the gala. I mean, that was the focal
was
point
it
of the
on the
gala.
Andy says that the van
That was in 95. That was 2 years before the foundation.
Right.
was a focal point of one of the focal beneficiaries of the gala.
That was my year I was president too. That's why it
Andy was
happened.
president. How about
Yeah,
Andy?
yeah.
Yeah, Andy, you're
I
the
should
gray
have
beard of
mentioned
the group here. You know that? All right. Well, that's really great, and I appreciate that. And I will say, because I mean, and I didn't say this to pat myself on the back at all, but Gail and I, we went through. We're doing our estate plans right now, and we're going to include the Hudson Rotary Foundation in our plans. I want to make a distinction again. For folks who maybe are not as familiar, initiated and all this stuff, Hudson Rotary Foundation is the local club's foundation. Rotary International Foundation is Rotary International's foundation. Yes. They collaborate on, especially on international projects and things like that. There actually even is like a cluster or district foundation too. We won't get into that one right now, but we collaborate with them as well. All right, hold on. We have Ed Sogan here, everyone.
Next up.
It's time.
My goodness sakes.
Yes.
All right, it's fine day. Finally. I guess the best, they saved the best for last.
Yes.
Where's Pat?
Right here.
Well, Pat mentioned too about you missing Art on the Green.
Oh, yeah.
Robbie could take a Greyhound bus, that's what he told me.
Yeah, not if I want to.
Okay.
Not if I want.
If I could have Catherine collect funds on this side, Chris, if you could do it on the opposite side. Ron left a nice little donation, because he's going off to golf. Lynn's up is on vacation, and a couple weeks ago, she left an envelope, and I will just take out her donation for this.
Oh, my.
Isn't that something?
Benjamin.
Lynn's up.
So much.
No. Put that out of your pocket.
Put it back
It was a $100 bill.
It wasn't, that was the plan.
Oh.
That was a little fine day joke. Okay. All right. I attended Browns practice yesterday, and I'm going to be happy to announce at this stage of the season they are undefeated. Hey, JR, you Steelers fan, you come on.
I was at Steelers camp.
They were looking good. Couple other things. We've got the start of school next week, so again, watch out for kids as they get ready and on their way to school or getting to the bus stops next Wednesday. And also the sports seasons are getting geared up to get started, so check the school's website to get all the games that are going to be happening coming up this fall. The cause this week is the Autism Association, and in June they had the longest day, and it's again a big fundraiser for them. Alzheimer's, I'm sorry. What did I say? Autism. Yeah. Okay. Begins with an A. Fine for me. The tax fine is $5. It will be $5 right here. Remember, at the end of the meeting, we have happy news. So anybody that has something for the good of the order and good is happening in your life or your family's life, for a small donation, you can go ahead and do that. Any member questioning or fact-checking the fine master, like Ron Strobel, will suffer the wrath of the fine master, so I encourage you not to do that. For people that do not have your badge or pin, please pay $1 at this time. Our lovely assistants will be
walking around to collect those. In the news, we had a couple of things happen on July 22nd. Was the last board meeting for Catherine Sines as our treasurer. They had a really nice reception for her, a great turnout, a lot of accolades from Phil Herman and the school board in regards to all the great work that she's done over the years, and it really made us feel like slackers, so please pay $1.
I'm paying $1 for
For that thing, because she was outstanding. Evans Paul Harris Award, a very nice, I think it was a pin that was awarded to you, correct?
Yeah.
As you received that, except we had a little battle between our president, Tom Tobin, and Joe Zapatowski. As Joe was trying to make the presentation, Tom was continually butting in, and as Joe said, it almost came to fisticuffs. So $1 for both of those guys for causing all kinds of trouble there.
You should have just given me
Bob Cramp has graciously volunteered to pay $1 for Dan Williams. Dan, as you know, in the Hudson Hub, we often have pictures of, stock pictures of our city council members. And it was for a long time, it was, Dan was in that picture. And now it's Hal Desasor and, let's see, who else is in this picture here? Dennis Hannock. Yeah. And they've been in again for the last several months. Dan has a lawsuit pending to the hub because his picture hasn't been in, so please pay $1 for that particular violation of his rights. Let's see.
Yes, how much?
Ice Cream Social, Casey Weinstein was in the dunk tank. And they had a nice picture of him, but there was no picture of our mayor, David Basil.
Oh.
Did not participate, please pay $1. Tom Tobin, as he mentioned, was circulating his petition for the school board, and he was, and again, at our meeting, he was all over town, but he was also at the entrance of at the exit of the Acme parking lot, and he had a sign that said, "Good work for signatures for my petition, please pay $1 for that." Evan McCauley, still single, correct? Okay. Instead of single as a marital status, Evan said, "I prefer independently owned and operated." Pay $1 for that little snide remark. Jay Yard, where's Jay? Back there. Jay went to his physician, and he said, according to my height and weight ratio, I should be 9 feet 3 inches tall. So my weight is okay, but my height is the problem. So pay $1 for that. Keep working on that height. I probably shouldn't mention this, but a certain Scout high official in our group had this comment today: "Camping is where you spend a fortune to live like a homeless person." So please pay $1 right there. A good man.
That's worth $1. That's their
Bad
motto.
Boys Table again. Jim, are you part of the Bad Boys Table?
Yes.
Okay. All right, good.
Come on, you get back
All right, another in-depth discussion. This table has classics every week when they come in there, but they brought these words of wisdom. Behind every angry woman stands a man who has no idea what happened.
That's a good one. I like
And the Bad Girls Table, again, all the ladies can get in on this, but in a similar vein, the latest of technological advancements. For women who don't want Alexa listening to their conversations, they have invented a male version called Alex, and he doesn't listen to anything. All the ladies, if you could put that one.
That's a good
Joe Boisel, church sign. He always has a great church sign out in front of his church there on Atterbury Boulevard. Never be afraid to try something new. Remember, amateurs built the Ark, professionals built the Titanic. Today, Joe also mentioned to his table mates there that working for God on earth doesn't pay a whole lot, but the retirement plan is out of this world. Okay, Battle of the Stars, we're going to divide kind of a sparse crowd over here, but this group against this group over here, if you get the correct answer, they pay $1. If you miss it, you pay $1. What state's name has just one syllable?
Maine.
Very good. Way to bark it out for him. You guys pay $1 over here. Don't help him. Mimi, that wasn't you, was it?
No.
This time. No, normally that's you. Helping out. Okay, you get a chance to repay the favor. In the winter of 1932, it was so cold.
How cold was it?
How cold was it? That blank froze completely solid.
Hell. Hell froze over, right?
Lake Erie.
Lake Erie.
Not Lake Erie? You guys have an idea? It was Niagara Falls. Pay $1 again over on this side.
All right.
Can't believe you guys missed that one. Okay. Here's a good one for you guys because you're all linguists.
Yes.
There are just a few words in the English language that end in OUS. Words like tremendous, horrendous, stupendous, and I've got one written down here. If you get the right word, they pay $1. What would it be?
I'm thinking of a number between
No,
1 and...
think of a word.
Adventurous?
Excellent.
Dangerous.
Hazardous. Pay $1. Okay, last one over here, and this one I know you guys will get it because you guys are smarter than all get out. Who's missing in your Flintstones vitamins?
Bam Bam.
Barney.
Betty Rubble. Pay $1 over here. Betty Rubble's missing.
Betty's not included?
Okay, for those people that are mature members of our group, and there are a few of you here, why did they lock, and this isn't a question, this is just something for you to think about. Why did they lock the old gas station bathrooms? Were they afraid someone was going to break in and clean them? Okay, Jim Lang,
A rhetorical joke.
superb golfer. You've probably all heard his golf stories and stuff, but this is a quote from one of his golf partners. Now, Jim golfs many times a week, and his golf rounds last 5, 6, 7 hours. And his golf partner, who wanted to remain nameless, says his decision-making skills on a golf course closely resemble those of a squirrel when crossing a road. Pay $1.
All right.
Okay, I can't figure it out. Can't. Okay, another golf thought, and again, we've got a lot of people here with high degrees of intelligence and stuff, and high standards. Ben Rex wrote, "I refuse to join a club that would have me as a member." Thank you, Ben, for your high standards. Pay $1 over there.
You and Groucho.
This one's on me. Some things are better left unsaid, and I usually realize it after I've said it. I'll pay $1 for that one. Dan Rich was talking about his youth to his table over here today, and he said, "When I was young, I asked God for a bike." You can use this one, Joe. I asked God for a bike, but I know God doesn't work that way. So I stole a bike and I asked for forgiveness.
Love it!
All right, we got a bunch of birthdays here. I'll go through them real quick. Again, we're catching up for July, but Dan Williams was July 7th, Tom Tobin the 13th, Ron Barnhouse on the 1st, David Ash, Joe Z, and Marilyn Orr all on the 21st.
Wow.
What's going on here?
Couple years apart, I think, but all on the 21st. Scott Naples on the 22nd, Ed Sogan, the 25th, Larry Santon the 27th, Jim Ayer on the 31st. August birthdays, Keith Fears the 2nd, Clinton Samuels on the 12th, Jim Young the 24th, Mimi Becker on the 24th, Catherine Stein on the 27th, and Richard Nebbiolo on the 28th. Happy birthday to you guys. We're running out of time. We can't sing happy birthday. Sorry about that. Rotary anniversaries. David Ash in July, 8 years. Liz Ramsey, 13. Lynn Zupp, 4. George Smuts, 4. Rotary anniversaries this month. Liz Kwalik, 4. Joe Z, 55 years. Joe Bella, 12 years. Allison Feaster, 10. And Doug McDowell, 3. Any happy news? James.
Yeah, a week ago, my wife and I had an anniversary of 54 years.
54.
All right.
Fantastic. August 1st was Marion, mine, and she always likes to say it was 49 years of marital bliss. So
Yeah.
we had that happen.
So how many years have you been married?
49 years, my good man. That was every year. Final thoughts. You may be just one person to the world, but you may be the world to one person. God bless.
All right.
All right, Ed, thank you so much. Ed, I apologize, I cut you short a little bit today. I stepped on your comic genius. I apologize for that. All right, folks, we have, let's see, our usual, we have to move on to Rotabuck, I believe, at this point. Today's, unless I'm forgetting something here. No, okay. Today's payout is $11. Jackpot is $300. Could I have, Marilyn, would you pick, are you unconflicted today?
I'm unconflicted.
Okay, good. All right, here we go. 1, 4, 7, 8. Who is the lucky winner? 1, 4, 7, 8.
Early riser. That's who got it.
All right,
All
Joe.
right.
All right. The foundation man. All right, Joe. And let's see.
Thank you,
You're
welcome.
We have a black marble in there.
I'm better off to leave it
You did?
to someone
Oh,
else.
you did?
Yeah, when someone else does it
All right.
for me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Thank you so much. Next week's program, we have Bobby Dinkins from the Cuyahoga Valley Scenic Railroad.
Great.
Thanks to the speaker committee for arranging that. That'll be great. Please remember to bring a guest. I think that's how we can grow the club very efficiently. Our quote of the week, I had a choice of two, both coming from John F. Kennedy, one about gratitude, one about civility. Which one would you like?
Let's try civility.
Civility, on JFK on civility. So let us begin anew, remembering on both sides that civility is not a sign of weakness, and sincerity is always subject to proof. Let us never negotiate out of fear, but let us never fear to negotiate. Let both sides explore what problems unite us, instead of belaboring those problems which divide us. Good words of wisdom there. All right, and let's see, anything else here? You know, I just want to say again how proud I am to be a Rotarian after hearing what Joe had to say about the foundation and the generosity of this club over the years, and knowing what we're going to be doing in the future. It's a source of pride for me, and I hope for everyone else here too. All right, I think that's it. Unless anybody else has any comments or issues, we are adjourned.